Hey there everyone, it's me, Littb, and I'm doing something a bit different. Not a music video, but it's a video about music. I wanted to explain the story of Complication, because honestly, Complication, it's the only album of mine that I actually put any thought into the lyrics, like 100% of the time. You know, like throughout the entirety of the whole thing, I actually put, thought between each and every word. Not only that, but also the instrumental as well. The instrumental has some, well, not throughout the whole album, but some songs, there some parts of the instrumental that do have a, I guess you could say that parts of the instrumental are there for a reason. It has something to do with the lyrics and the story being told in the album. That's basically what I'm saying. I want to explain the story. I know the point of a concept album is for people to interpret it their own way, which you still can, right? But this is basically my interpretation of my own album, I guess, if that makes sense. You guys should listen to it, you know, make your own conclusions, whatever, but I am gonna make my own right here, right now, because I'm the writer and the singer and the instrumentalist for 90% of the songs anyway. The other 20% being the two songs that I didn't make the instrumental for. So, yeah, I'm gonna start off with Complication, track 1. The song is basically the protagonist, right? And the protagonist is remembering the events of the things that are gonna happen within the rest of the album. So basically, Complication, the first track, is basically telling you that, hey, this is all a memory within the main protagonist's mind. Like, this is not happening in the current day, because the album ends off on a good note. So basically, everything that happens past Complication is the character memorizing the events that took place before. The reason why it's so hellish and stuff, and why it's a complication that he's remembering the things, is because it's a dark memory that he's having, if that makes sense. So the album starts off dark, and then it ends light because it ends off on a good note, hence why it's a memory. I don't know if I could explain that any better, but there you go. Track 2, Mentally Drained. Alright, this one, it's pretty self-explanatory, you know. The character feels drained mentally from the actions of the partner that he's with. Basically, the first couple of tracks are basically just laying out the type of person that the main protagonist is with in these memories. The first couple of songs is literally just painting the picture of the person that this person in the album used to be with, the person that hurt him. At the end of Mentally Drained, he explains how people are pointing the finger at him, saying that he is the cause of the drama, but then he thinks to himself that it's his partner, which it is, that is causing the problem. For track 3, Is This What You Wanted? Again, it's pretty self-explanatory. That one basically just paints the picture out to the protagonist's partner being a narcissist, kind of a jerk, you know? Same goes for Everything I Know Is a Lie. That song is just, again, it's pretty self-explanatory. That was just painting the partner to be a liar. That it's not that deep, bro. But then this is where I start getting into the deep stuff, like the stuff I put way more thought into, and like the stuff that has more meaning behind it. My Everything might be confusing for some people because it sounds really goofy and I sing it really badly. See, that's the point though, because My Everything is not from the perspective of the protagonist, it's from the perspective of the partner. The partner is basically mocking the protagonist. That's what My Everything is. It's I sing it in a mocking and kind of silly tone because that is the way it's meant to be, because that's the way the partner is treating the protagonist. Makes sense? I hope that makes sense. That's the purpose of that one. At first I was gonna make it like a sexual kind of thing, but then I realized it wasn't really needed, so I didn't bother. That's why it actually starts with "You come inside, nothing to hide." That's why it starts with that. But then I decided that I would just leave it off as just that, and then not make it a sexual thing. I'll just make it a literal thing. You come inside the house, you know. You come inside, like the relationship. Originally it was a sexual thing because I was originally gonna make it a song like Closer by 9 Inch Nails, but then I was like, I don't really think that's needed in this album. And then after that, Inside of Me Okay, Inside of Me, definitely a much darker song, I'd say. Probably the heaviest song as well, because there is actually screaming in this one. Not by me, because I cannot physically scream. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not a very loud person. So I had my friend scream instead, because I couldn't. Inside of Me, well, this one's lyrics are very dark, and it could be very easily misinterpreted, so I should probably clear this. Basically, this is the beginning of the protagonist's mental breakdown. He's in the midst of the stuff that's happening with his partner, and he's not happy, and he starts thinking that he is the problem. That's kind of a common theme within this album, is that the protagonist is blamed for the problems when it's not his fault, you know? It's kind of like a self-reflection on myself as well, because I've been in situations where I would blame myself. I mean, everybody has, where you would blame yourself even though you're not the cause of the problem. Basically, like, the next couple of songs, that's what happens in the next couple of songs. But Inside of Me has the parts where it says, okay, so thank you, use you, abuse you, scar you, read you, fuck you. That's not from the protagonist. That is the protagonist remembering things of which the partner has said to him. But then the chorus, I can't find anything inside of me, I can't help but hate myself. That is a very self-explanatory chorus there. I don't really think I need to explain that one. But the reason why Kyle's screaming in the background is because it's like obviously supposed to symbolize the mental breakdown, you know, because he's like screaming at himself, you know, being pissed off, you know, at himself, even though he has no reason to be. The rest of the lyrics is more so of like a self-loathing kind of thing, you know. The whole song is just him hating himself, even though he has no reason to be, but he's depressed because of things that are happening in his life currently. He's putting the blame on himself, essentially. That's what's happening. And then the next song, Gone, essentially he basically confronts the partner finally and breaks up with it. That's basically all that happens in that song. Like, it's not anything super deep. That's basically the end of the relationship there. The next track, Fix Myself, that song, it's kind of like a little too relatable on my end, because I could connect it to other things that aren't related to the story of the album, but honestly that's kind of the point anyway. But so the instrumental, that one, the wah sound effect, that's supposed to be like a sound that's supposed to symbolize like grinding on like the I guess the brain, because like you're having negative thoughts, you know. I don't know if that makes sense. Well, I'll just play the sound here. That sound is supposed to be like a mental scraping, if that makes sense, on the inside of his head. I don't know how to explain that very well, but essentially in this song he keeps blaming himself, and even though he's already escaped the partner he was with before, he still has mental trauma, and he wants to fix himself, and he doesn't want to sit on his ass and let it get to him. He doesn't want to sit there and take the beating mentally, you know, the mental beating from what has happened. He wants to find help, which is why, leading into the next song, it goes into Feeling, which Feeling is quite self-explanatory. He wants help. He went and got help. He went and got medication. He went and got therapy. At the end of that song, he says, as it's been, I think I said 2 months? 2 months. I think I found the one. Then I said 3, and I say, I hope this works for me. So basically, he finds a new love interest afterwards, after a couple of months have gone by since he's been taking therapy and medication to help himself. And then it leads into Serenity. Serenity this is one of my favorite songs on the album, actually, because I could relate to this pretty well. But essentially, Serenity is not talking about a person, but rather it's talking about the medication itself. Like, it's talking about antidepressants. That's pretty relatable for me, because I use antidepressants myself. Each song, in some shape or form, has a self-reflection of myself in there, obviously, because I wrote the lyrics. Like, I'm not going to hide the fact. But I will say Serenity is probably my most relatable one, because Serenity is about antidepressants. I mean, there's literally a part on there where it says, put me on an escape, put me on a way to get away. I can't seem to find my way without you. this feeling stays. When I say without you, I'm not talking about a person, I'm talking about pills. And then Forever, this is leading on to what the protagonist said in Feeling at the end, where it says, I think I found the one for me. He finds a new love interest after a couple of months, and after Serenity, it goes into Forever, and Forever is basically, I don't really know how to explain this one. Basically, I guess the best I can come up for it is that he's admitting his love to somebody. It's like a crush, you know. I need to find my way to get through to you. I find a way to get through you. Whatever, I don't care. But whatever I said there. He's essentially giving a love letter. You know, that's what Forever is. It's a love letter to a crush. That's essentially what it is. I don't know how to explain that. And then there's Beside You in Time. This is after they hooked up. You know. Beside You in Time actually is from the perspective of two different people in this one, from the new partner and the protagonist, actually. That's why the background vocals are so present in this one compared to the rest of them. Like, there's more background vocals in Beside You in Time than the rest of them, is because there's two people singing it. The first verse is from the perspective of the new protagonist's partner, hence why it says, I want to be there for you, I won't be scared, I want to be there for you. You know, that's why. It's because it's essentially the person that he falls in love with after the fact, you know. And then the chorus is from the perspective of both. Basically anything from You Make Me So Happy I Could Cry, that's the protagonist. And then it goes back into each other. And then the final track, Everything Is Okay Now, that's basically just a self-reflection. You know, that's basically just reflecting on the things that have happened throughout the entirety of the album. It's an ending song. Not much to explain there, but fun facts about that song, though, I actually came up with all those words on the spot, and honestly I think that made it more believable because I was struggling to come up with words as I was trying to make that whole speech at the end. The other fun fact is that if you listen closely, you could actually hear the doctor talking in the background, faintly distorted, coming from, I think I made it the left ear. That's it. So thank you for listening to me rambling. Go check out Complication. It's a concept album, you know. I'm very proud of it, both musically and lyrically. And that's it. Thank you for listening to this, I guess. Have a good day.